Do you always feel like you're hungry? Well, then this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to control your appetite, how to manage your weight, and how to reap the most benefits out of your cheat meals. I'm going to be talking about a specific hormone called leptin. Leptin is a satiety hormone, so it basically tells your brain when you're full. It's produced and it's secreted within our fat cell. So the fat cell releases leptin, it travels into the bloodstream, it goes up to our brain, and it goes to the receptors in our brain, and it tells our brain, you know what, we're full, we don't got to eat no more, that's enough. All right, so I'm going to share with you ways what increases leptin, what can imbalance it, what can make it completely resistant, and what can you do today to make sure that you can take care of all of that so you can stop craving foods, you can stop gaining so much weight, and you can enjoy your high calorie meals without feeling guilty. So what imbalances it is having very, very, very high body fat. So when you have body fat, it's good because when you have body fat, your body's like, oh, you know what? We got some body fat. You know what? You can start the fat burning process. Don't worry. This body's good. It's getting its food in. We're surviving. Okay. But then when the body fat becomes too high, it's constant releasing that leptin. That leptin is getting released. And what happens? The receptors in our brain starts to block it out. So it starts to become kind of like too noisy. Say for an example, if you're not always around children, okay, and then you're around some kids and they're screaming and they're fighting and they're playing and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how you guys deal with children that are so loud all day long, yeah? But then when you have a couple children and they're always playing and fighting and screaming and running around the house, you become so used to it that you just block out the noise, right? Well, the receptors in the brain, it does the same thing. When leptin is getting released so much, it blocks it out. Okay. And when you have what's called high inflammation, it also clouds the area. It crowds where the receptors are. So basically think, okay, I'm the receptor right now. Okay. There's a lot of inflammation that's happening. Okay. Based on the kind of foods that you've been eating and stuff, you know? And now all this inflammation is crowding the area in front of the receptors. So when leptin comes, the receptors doesn't even see it. It's like, I don't really see leptin. It's so crowded. It's so cloudy. I can't really see. I just kind of want you kind of like to visualize how it is to keep it simple, okay? But that's what happens. So we really need to focus on how can we bring that inflammation down? How can we bring the body fat down so it's not too high because we don't want it to be what's called resistance, where it completely blocks it out. And we don't want the imbalance of it so that we're not always hungry, not always craving food, and not always gaining the weight, yeah? And so what also creates this miscommunication within the receptors and leptin is also very, very, very low body fat. Okay, so I don't want to freak you out right now. You're like, okay, well, if I gain weight too much, it will become imbalanced. And if my body fat is too low now, it's also a problem. So it's about having that balance and knowing what can you do within your lifestyle to make sure that you are balancing it all out. All right, so let's say, for an example, you're someone who's completely lean, body fat is low, you got muscle, you've been working out, you're training every day, you eat super clean. Your cheat meals, oh, you're gonna love this. So when you have a cheat meal, okay, that's when leptin is like, oh, all right, good. The person is getting some high calorie meals, man, because when the body fat becomes super low, it actually slows down the metabolism. It starts shutting down the fat burning process because the body's like, dude, we need to survive. This person has very low body fat and they don't eat that much and they're burning a lot every day. So the goal is not going to be to keep burning fat, right? The body's going to try to adapt and say, hey, man, we need to survive. Slow down that fat burning process, okay? So what do you do when you incorporate cheat meals, but you want to do it properly, okay? And I'm going to share with you how right now. So when you have a cheat meal and you have a high calorie meal, boom, the leptin gets released. It tells your brain, we're good. We have a high calorie meal. This body's surviving. Start the fat burning process so it revs up the metabolism, okay? So if you're super lean, you have a cheat meal every week. Every week you have your cheat meal, but it's the specific kind of foods that you have to focus on right now, okay? Because if you're gonna have a cheat meal and it's gonna be super high in fat, it's not gonna release leptin that much. You want starchy carbohydrates like sweet potato, rice, and stuff like that, okay? But the fat very low. So let's say you have 1 tablespoon of olive oil that you cook your lean protein in. So you don't wanna have like salmon or steak, you know what I mean, or fatty protein, you know what I mean? You want to have lean white fish or lean chicken breast, okay? Because that's no fat, it's just protein. And then boom, you have, like, say for an example, a lot of sweet potato. Sweet potato would be a perfect kind of carb that you should have on your cheat meal. Now I know for some people they're like, girl, that is not a cheat meal. But if you're looking to take care of your health, you know what I mean? Of course, I'm not saying deprive yourself from eating, high fat food sometimes. I just want to share with you how to reap the most benefits out of your cheat meals. If you're really looking to be healthy, to reduce inflammation, to stop craving, stop thinking about all these sugary and junk foods. Because most of the time, a lot of the times, people think that they have like some kind of an addiction or they don't have enough willpower when it comes to the connection with food. But actually, it could just be the imbalance of certain hormones that's telling their body to eat these specific foods. So that's why I tell people it's not about deprivation. It's about getting your body back into balance, and you won't feel the need to eat junk food. You'll be surprised. Trust me, I used to eat a lot of junk food. Now, I don't even crave it whatsoever. I have it once in a while when my body feels like, you know what, I want a burger and some fries. I have it, but I never really think about it anymore. I actually don't even enjoy it. Like, my body looks forward to eating healthy food. I kind of feel like nasty when I eat too much junk food, you know? So I tell people, get it all back into balance. You'll feel like that. Trust me. All right. So sweet potato, usually you would say, let's say I have 100 grams, right? 100 grams. But now you can have maybe double, even triple if you want to, all depends on how lean you are, what your training is like. Okay. So you want to eat super clean so that you bring that low body fat down, and then boom, you give it the high calories so it releases that leptin. So say for an example, you're someone, you're like, girl, I am not lean. I got a lot of body fat on my stomach. I'm really trying to manage my weight. How can I incorporate my cheat meals? I wouldn't do it every week. I would do it every 2 weeks so that you're getting in the fat burning process. You know what I mean? You're getting in the routine of balancing everything out, your digestive system, enjoy eating healthy, get those taste buds back to being natural. Because the more we incorporate some junk food, the harder it becomes to be able to stay away from them. Our taste buds become addictive to these kind of foods, and we crave it even more and more. Certain bacteria produce even more and more. I don't want to get into all that, and then we crave it more and more. So that's why I don't recommend having like fast food and junk food all the time. But now we're talking about cheat meals, a healthy cheat meal. You could still have it every week, no problem, if you're putting in the work and you're training all the time. But if you're really high on body fat, I'd say 2 weeks. Okay, every 2 weeks, you give yourself high calorie meal, very low fat, don't forget, and high starchy carbs. So you don't want like fructose. You don't want to eat a lot of fruits. You want to focus on starchy glucose. Okay, so you want to focus on potato, rice, sweet potato, stuff like that, corn chips and stuff like that. Okay. Now we want to reduce inflammation. Okay, because the inflammation is what's going to crowd the receptors, and it's going to create this miscommunication within the leptin and the receptors in the brain. Yeah. So to reduce inflammation, one of the best ways to do that is fasting. So if you don't know anything about fasting, I've done videos in the past on my podcast, on my YouTube channel, on Instagram I've done, but if you can't find it, you can just shoot me a message and I'll send you the link where I break it down on how to do it. But to keep it short, basically when you fast, you can drink coffee, you can drink tea, you can drink water, but you don't want to have anything else to be safe. You don't want to have anything else that your body's going to have to, break down, okay? Or even spike your blood sugar levels. So we want to just keep it clean. We want to make sure that your blood sugar levels are very low. We want to keep what's called a hormone called insulin very low, okay? It has many functions, but it also stores fat. So when it's low, you're in the fat burning process. So why do you benefit so much out of fasting? Many reasons, but to keep it simple, when you're fasting all day long, let's say 16 hours would be perfect. So you have your meal, at 8 o'clock, you have your last meal, you wake up, you wait 16 hours. So basically you're just skipping breakfast and then you're having your lunch and dinner in an 8-hour window, okay? So you fast all day, insulin is low, what growth hormone comes high, so that helps you preserve lean muscle, have beautiful skin, helps you burn more fat. You're going to balance your hormones where you're not going to be hungry, because if you're having these crashes throughout the day with your blood sugar levels, then you're always going to be hungry. So when it's low, you're not hungry anymore. So you'll see as you start to fast more and more, everything becomes more balanced and you're not craving anything anymore. Now you have a big meal. Big high calorie meals is what releases that leptin, but you want to make sure also the fat is low, okay? So the big calorie meal tells your body, wow, you fasted all day long, so all the hormones are getting balanced, but now with the high calorie meal, it revs up the metabolism. It tells the body, you could start releasing fat, start burning fat because we're good, we're surviving, okay? And the inflammation wise is because when you eat so many meals throughout the day and you're having so many snacks throughout the day, your body's constantly trying to digest food, yeah? So when you don't eat all day long, now your body's full of energy. It's like, okay, what are we going to do with this energy? It's going to go and it's going to take care of any situation that your body could be dealing with. If you're dealing with bloating, if you're dealing with any kind of digestive issues, your body's going to go and it's going to start repairing it because it's not worried about digesting food. So it's a really great way that's what doctors give people when they're sick or if they're dealing with cancer and stuff like that. This is where it came from. This is where people started saying, wow, you actually benefit so much out of fasting. And people started doing it for health reasons, but then they started studying more and more about it and realize the benefits of, burning body fat as well, okay? Because that will allow you to tap into your own fat for energy. If you're eating all the time, your body will use that food as energy instead of tapping into your own fat for energy. So if you really want to manage your weight, what I really recommend is what's called a carb cycling diet, okay? Just to keep it simple, you're not having carbs every single day. So let's say you don't have carbs for 2 to 3 days, okay? And then you have carbs for 2 days. What's happening is that you're producing what's called ketones, and ketones will basically tell your body, you know what, tap into your own fat for energy. So then you get to benefit out of tapping into carbs for energy and tapping into your own fat for energy, okay? So that's a great way to do it. Now, you don't want to have high carb meals every single day if you want to reap the benefits out of leptin. If you want to stop craving food and if you want to manage your weight, you'd want to have high carbs, because when you eat high carbs every single day, those excess carbs turn into fat. They turn into what's called triglycerides, and triglycerides is through a process called de novo lipogenesis. And I don't want to get into all that. I'll make videos about that, okay? So basically, the more muscle that you have, the more you can get away with carbs, okay? Because carbs goes to the muscle, it stores it in our muscle for energy, for later use. When our body needs energy, it takes it from the storage within our muscle. So if you have very little muscle, you're not going to be able to get away with that much carbs. That's why people work out. That's why people try to build a little muscle. So when they eat that food, it's not going to go directly to their fat, and especially mainly in the stomach. Okay, you even have people what's called skinny fat, where they're really skinny, but if you look at the ratio of their muscle and their fat, they have high body fat compared to the muscle. So they're very skinny, but they have no muscle because they don't really work out. Genetically, they're just thin, you know what I mean? But now when they eat high carb meals, they have a little belly and they're like, I don't know why I'm so skinny, but I have a little stomach. Okay, that's why people try to focus on resistance training to be able to build that muscle and not just cardio. Okay, so I hope I kept this simple. So let's just go down to break it down so you can kind of refresh your memory. Very lean people, they have their cheat meals every week. If you have higher body fat, you can have it every 2 weeks. You want to make sure that the fat is very low, the protein is very lean, like chicken breast or white fish, okay? And that your carbohydrates are starchy carbs, and you keep those carbs very high on your cheat meals, okay? And you want to try to incorporate fasting, where you can eat within an 8-hour window, or you can fast even more and do 1 meal a day. It's called an OMAD diet. I love doing that. 1 meal a day. You're just going to it's not about eating less. It's about having a bigger meal all at once. So see what works for you, work your way into it, okay? And carb cycling diet as well, where you're, not having carbs, your fats are slightly higher on the days that you're not having your carbs for a couple of days, and then boom, you have your carbs for 2 days, all right? And if you have any questions, I would love for you to leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video, and let me know what kind of videos would you like to see me upload next. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.